The principal philosophy is less government, an idea of freedom in the aspect, just the concepts of a country that's conceived in liberty and dedicate the proposition that we're all
But hasn't she fit that bill over the last several years?
I think her whole focus has been different. Her whole focus has been against one individual, whether she has information or not, instead of focusing on her district itself.
McCarthy says this is about Cheney's work on the January 6th committee. Trump-backed Harriet Hageman has repeatedly hammered Cheney over the committee. One House Republican, Congressman Pat Fallon, says the former president asked him and other Republican members to come to Wyoming and campaign against Cheney. Cheney has called Trump a domestic threat to the United States and backing election fabrications and his conduct around and during the Capitol riot. McCarthy told us this is one race that will sweep House Republicans into power. Will you be Speaker in January?
I believe so. We'll win the majority, and I'll be Speaker, yes.
That's the whole thing. Kevin McCarthy went over to Wyoming to act like he's this big, I guess, killer of Liz Cheney's political career there, when really it's the whole Republican Party who's gone absolutely insane, has followed Donald Trump to this point, and also her time on the January 6th committee. But McCarthy wants to make sure that his face and name is attached to this whole thing, because at the end of it, as he pointed out, I'm gonna be Speaker of the House. That's his only motivation for anything Kevin McCarthy's ever done, from the kneeling to Donald Trump to the saying that Donald Trump is a disaster. It's all to try to get to this one point, and he thinks he's almost there. Liz Cheney did respond to what he was saying. Now let's watch.
We just heard back from Cheney's campaign during this whole discussion we're having right here about what he's been saying. Congressman Kevin McCarthy has been saying. Representative Liz Cheney says, quote, "It's really difficult to understand that word salad. Was there an actual sentence in there somewhere?" Bill, back to you.
The fight continues. So by the way, as I think we talked about this on the main show a week or two ago, I was on with Dan, and we were talking about Liz Cheney's potential career after this, because CNN had an analyst on to talk about that as well, and I think it might be headed this way, if not for maybe running for president. But let's watch that, because this is a big crossroads for her. Let's watch.
You know, we have a common enemy in Donald Trump, right? I mean, politics makes strange bedfellows, but I think, look, if I lived in Wyoming, I would vote for Liz Cheney, because a Republican is gonna be in that seat, so it might as well be Liz Cheney than, this woman who is just, it's beyond me that somebody's gonna put her in the House. But look, Liz Cheney is still anti-abortion. She still, has a huge level of conservatism. I think she's gonna be a woman without a party. All these people speculating that she's gonna now become a Democrat, or she's gonna run as an independent, or let her be, a vice presidential candidate for the Democrats. Like, I just don't see any of that. Right. There's really no party that Liz Cheney is gonna be welcome in at this point. And it's too bad, because I think history is gonna treat her well, and she's performed an amazing, courageous, valuable service over this last year.
Jessica, Liz Cheney is trailing Hageman by 29 points. So that's why all the writing's on the wall with what may happen as this goes down. But is there any next steps left? Because again, I like this question just because people were asking. I think it was a MSNBC reporter was talking specifically with Cheney. Is like president, because they think independents and Democrats will jump on board because of her work on the committee. But I'm glad that the analyst pointed out there she's still Liz Cheney.
Yeah, absolutely. She still is Cheney. I mean, it's taking a page out of the Democrats' playbook if they run her for president, because it looks like she's gonna lose, and Democrats love picking a losing candidate and running them for higher office. I don't see that going well for Liz Cheney, though. I mean, who's going to support Liz Cheney? She represents this kind of neoliberal, if not neoclassical type of economic framework when it comes to running for office, where you're going to cut back on social and public programs and then allow corporations to step in and provide those goods and services. People are really sick of that. However, it is a big shift from Donald Trump, but yeah, I don't see her having the support there. And when you have, McCarthy saying we need less government, she hasn't been fighting the fight for less government. They have no idea what they mean when they're saying that. They're confusing people because they see the current government is dysfunctional because it's been largely defunded, and they're telling people that government itself is the problem, which is not the case. And also the idea that he's questioning Donald Trump being a domestic threat. I mean, not just January 6th, but this is the same guy who said there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville. So Kevin McCarthy can be wrong and Liz Cheney can also be wrong. And I think the analyst has a point that she won't actually have a party if she decides to run for higher office. I think it would be kind of embarrassing, but still would prefer her to Donald Trump because it makes it a lot easier to make the populist case to everyone else that we need something different from what has been neoliberalism in the United States for years and years and years.
There's going to be some level of Democrats and independents that are going to be like, this is great, she's wonderful, and I think there's going to be a bit of a media narrative that's going to help that a bit. I don't think it's going to be enough though.
It's going to be like the elite, like NPR, New York Times, Bloomberg, yeah.
Those limousine liberals.